Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel and the series about data engineering and data science in Microsoft Fabric. My name is Estera and today Jene is joining me to discuss MSSparkUtils. She will do the introduction to the Microsoft Spark utilities and do a showcase of the functionalities. Jene, thank you so much for joining us for the second time.
Thank you, Estera. I'm really happy to share in MSSparkUtils latest news and the rich functions.
Super. Let's dive right in. So I will start with the first question. For those who may not be familiar, could you give us a brief introduction to MSSparkUtils and explain what is the purpose of this library?
Okay, sounds great. So as you just mentioned, the MSSparkUtils has a full name, which is called Microsoft Spark Utilities. The whole idea of this MSSparkUtils is providing a box of APIs for notebook users that the notebook users can easily operate on their notebooks, Spark jobs, Spark cluster file system, and some commonly used method using the code experience inside the notebook. So in general, it's a relatively advanced way to play with the notebook and Spark jobs comparing to the low-code features inside notebook. We delivered a lot of low-code features in the last episode. But a lot of data engineers and the code-first data scientists are big fans of the MSSparkUtils because it's really easy, convenient, and flexible, and it can naturally work well with pipelines on the production environment. So it's good to learn about MSSparkUtils and use it in your own job.
Can you share some common use cases where MSSparkUtils proves to be particularly useful?
Yeah, for sure. For example, one very popular API inside MSSparkUtils is the mount API. If you are familiar with the Linux mount, you will know the mount is quite useful. You can bring your external storage to your local cluster, and here we can also bring your storage account like AWS Gen 2 account to your notebook session, Spark cluster, and you can mount any mount points you want. So it's quite secure, quite convenient, and it's quite flexible. So it's one of the very popular use case. Another one is about the MSSparkUtils reference run, which you can run your notebook in one line of code. You can call your child notebook. You can structure your notebook, invoke logic, and make really complex and very advanced pipelines inside your one notebook. So it's quite convenient for some really code-first user to well organize their project inside one notebook. So that's another very advanced feature inside MSSparkUtils.
I love this example because calling different notebook from my notebook, it's bringing the modularity.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
What about credentials?
Yeah, we also provide the credential utils, and we can store our own credentials in some other service like Azure Key Vault. But sometimes we want to use it in the current Spark session. We want to, for example, mount an external storage account to my current session. So I can use the credential utils to get the token, get the credential, get the database things to my current session. It's also a code experience, but it's really convenient and safe.
Super. So let's jump to the live demo.
Let's dive into a demo. I am sharing my sample notebook with a couple of code cells and markdown cells. Firstly, let's walk through the file system utilities API. We provided a help function in the file system utilities. Run the help. You will get all the available commands that you can use in notebook. If you are already familiar with the Unix commands, then it's very easy to learn because the usage are almost the same. In the next cell, I want to use the ls API to demo how to list a storage account. For example, in the first few lines, I am listing the files section, And in the output, you will see all my file contents inside the files root folder. The next, I'm listing the file from a remote storage account, which is ABFS storage account, and next, some files from local system. We also provided the properties that you can get the file details info, for example, name, if it's a directory, if it's a file, and the file path and file size. That's super convenient. Going to the next cell, here we want to demonstrate a few commonly used commands like make directories, write your files, read your files, copy your files, move your files, and append to your files. Last but not least, remove the files. I won't spend more time on the details. Feel free to check the document and give a try. Here comes to a very important part, which is the fs.mount API group. Please notice that the MSSparkUtils mount is a session level mount. When your Spark session is expired, the mount point will get unmounted as well. So please run the mount command again if you want to use it in the next time. Now let's look into this cell, the mount function here. The mount function will list all the existing mount points in your current session. Let's run it. The result is very nicely listed in a display table view, and you can see there are 2 mount points here, but they are all system mount points. The first mount point is the default lakehouse, and the second one is the notebook resources built-in folder here. Moving to the next, let's see how to create your own mount points. If you want to mount a Fabric lakehouse that you already have the permission, we can just use the AAD token credential. You just call the mount with the storage URL and your mount point name. Then it's done. And we can run the mount command again to verify if the mount point was created successfully. Here you can see there's a new mount point called mount point 1, which is exactly the mount point I just named. However, if the AAD token is not applicable in your scenario, for example, if you are using a keyboard to store your credential and you want to bring your ADLS Gen 2 account to your Spark session, we also provided a credential utils inside MSSparkUtils. The get token and get secret function can help you easily create your own mount point and bring your external data. You just need to fill into the account key or access token in the parameter field of the mount API. Let's have a try and run it. Now you can see the mount point 2 was automatically generated. It means we have successfully mounted ADLS Gen 2 account. Because we just called the mount function inside the node, then we can see all the existing mount points in my current session. Mount point 1 and 2 are my custom mount point just being configured. Moving to the next, let's see the use case of this get mount path API. This is my favorite one because it's very helpful when you are trying to read the path of the mount point. When we're trying to write data from the mount point, the get mount path can just return you the write path. Then you do not need to compose the address carefully anymore. And in the reference run case, which we will talk about later, the method can also work well. This code cell is just to illustrate it can work in the Python standard file system APIs, like open files, create folders, etc. Moving to the next, we are just using Pandas API to demo the same scenario. Here, Spark API also works well with this local path, which just generated from the get mount path API. The next section, let's see how MSSparkUtils can help with the notebook resources scenarios. The notebook resources has a built-in folder. Here is a per artifact folder that you can use as your local storage account. You can upload and download, create folders, store some small size data, store your Python module, SQL module inside this built-in folder, then you can load it directly to the notebook. In MSSparkUtils, we do support an NB resource path that can help you easily read and write from the code. For example, you can use this property to compose your file system path. Then you open a file, print some hello world inside your file, and read it. In the next cell, we just want to showcase the NB resource path can really work well in different scenarios. For example, in the Pandas scenario, it works well. In Spark scenario, it also works well. You can easily use this Python code snippet to interact with the notebook resources built-in folder and files. Look, you can even write an Excel file into the built-in folder. Here, I want to talk about another very important feature is the Python module inside notebook resources. We can leverage the NB resource path to write a Python module called node.py. Let's run the command. Firstly, let's remove it. Then we can just import this built-in now. The module was imported successfully. Next is a very exciting feature that is the fast copy function. You know, in the big data world, we all want to avoid copying large datasets. But in reality, it's really a very common task we have to do so. So if the data is super large, let's see 1 terabytes, which is just a normal size, it could take very long time to just copy or move the data. We provided 2 commands here to solve for this scenario. The first one is the traditional copy, which is the CP command we just demoed. The new one, which just got released recently, is called fast copy. Let's run an experiment to see how they work. We also provided a help function here. Run the command, then you can see how to use it. And let's use this ls command to check the remote storage dataset. We can see there are 2 datasets here. The first one is 10 terabytes. Let's just pick this one. I'll give a try on running this fast copy command. It can copy the dataset from the source URL to the target URL, and the target is my default lakehouse files section. Let's run it. Cool, just 5 seconds. Let's check on the default lakehouse. Now we can see the 10G file was generated successfully. As a control group, we will use the normal CP function to copy the dataset again. Please notice that we will rename it to 10G.2. Let's run it. So after 1 minute, it got run successfully. And let's check the file again. Refresh on the Lakehouse Explorer. Cool, the files also successfully copied. I guess we do not need to check the files again. The next chapter is to show how to use the reference run inside Notebook. The reference run is another very popular function. It's a function inside the Notebook utils. As normal, we provided the help function to show what's the available functions here. Now we run the command, it will list the exit function, run function, and run multiple function. By leveraging those functions, you can easily modularize your notebook and you invoke it or them in another notebook with parameterized input and exit value. You can have the flexibility to orchestrate your notebooks inside one notebook, and that is quite powerful. Let's dive deeper into them and test them. Firstly, let's test on the single notebook run. In the first statement, it's just call a vanilla notebook. It's called notebook simple. In the second statement, it's using some parameterized input. And we can see the run result contains 2 links, which is the notebook snapshot link. It can navigate to the run history of the invoked child notebook. The first snapshot detail page is quite simple, and the code inside is simple as well. It's quite straightforward. Let's navigate back to the second one. You remember we have some parameter input in the second one, and in the snapshot, we can view the input parameter in the bottom pane list, and we can see the changed value as a parameter really applied to the notebook, and we just use it as an exit value. This is how we use the exit function. Next, let's see how the run multiple works in the reference run case. We do have a help function for this as well. Let's run it. Give very detailed explanation on the output. We do not have time to read it. Let's just run it. You can see we input the list contains two notebooks, notebook simple and notebook simple 2. And it generated two notebook snapshots as we expected. Here, it can also print the exit value that the child notebook returns. The next one, we want to share a more complex case, which is run multiple notebooks with parameter. In this cell, I defined a simple graph or relationship between the child notebooks, together with parameters as input. Notice that in the run multiple, the referenced notebook, for example this 3, will be executed in parallel by default within a same session. But you can also declare the sequence relationship using the parameter dependency. Like this case, I'm using the dependency parameter claiming notebook simple is the predecessor of the current notebook simple 2.2. So by this way, we will be able to orchestrate a simple pipeline by just writing notebook code. Let's run it and see how it returns. After a while, we can see the output was successfully printed in the output canvas. We can see 3 snapshot ink generated here and 3 exit value with different parameter operate on the child notebook logic. By this way, we really want to be able to empower data engineers handle more complex use cases. This is the last demo for today's sharing. I hope you like it. Back to you, Esther.
Jane, thank you so much for the demo. Now I'm wondering what are some unique features of MSSparkUtils that set it apart from other utility packages?
Yeah, that's really a great question. We have a couple of unique features in MSSparkUtils. For example, the run multiple reference notebooks, as I just demoed. The multiple run is a unique feature, and to my knowledge, no one else is doing this. For example, in high concurrency mode, we have interactively share one session on different notebooks, and this run multiple is actually doing it as a batch. All the notebooks you referenced in the run multiple notebooks, it's run in parallel, and you can control it through parameters. That's super advanced, and you can save your resources, save your compute very conveniently if you want to use the reference run notebook.
I love this feature as it sounds as a perfect way of creating workflows for notebooks.
Yeah, indeed. And another one I want to demo once more, which is the fast copy feature. Inside fast copy, we actually use the easy copy underneath. It's really copy the files in a parallel way using distributed computing, and it's really quite advanced. And comparing to the normal copy, you see the performance improve. It's really huge value to use it because it save your time, save your money, and improve the performance.
Now I wonder, what are the resources or maybe some materials for learning that you can recommend for someone who is just starting to use MSSparkUtils?
Okay, I think we have very well written documents on the data engineering section of Fabric docs. You can find all the MSSparkUtils detailed usage in the document how to use MSSparkUtils. That's the primary place you can learn how to use it. And you can also just have a try, use the files fs.help or MSSparkUtils.help, that you can just get all the usage, how to set parameters, what's the available commands inside one command. So very recommend you guys to have a try and send me feedback.
Jene, thank you so much. Let's wrap for today. If you found this video helpful, give the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Also, if you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover in the upcoming videos, please leave the comment down below. And until the next time, happy coding inside notebooks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.